30 years ago, my mother started one of the first successful psychic lines. Growing up in this eccentric industry, the unexplainable, the mystical, was my normal. I was raised to have an open mind, yet to still be wisely grounded in skepticism. I've met some amazing talents and been witness to true psychic phenomena. I'm on a mission to find the best psychics in the most spiritual locations in the world. Join me on my journey, a journey to enlightenment. I'm Erica Gabrielle, and I am the Psychic Hunter. Sedona, Arizona, nestled in Red Rock Country. It's long been considered one of the most beautiful places on Earth. Drawing about 3 million tourists a year, it's a mecca for the spiritually inclined. A geological wonderland of sandstone, some believe cosmic forces emanate from these rocks. The native Yavapai, people of the sun, lived in this region during ancient times and left their mark with petroglyphs, cliff dwellings, and a magical lingering energy. Resting at the mouth of Oak Creek Canyon, Sedona is home to the famous Vortexes, swirling centers of energy that are conducive to healing, meditation, and self-exploration. These mysterious areas of concentrated energies are thought to have restorative recharging powers. Although all of Sedona is considered to be a vortex, there are specific sites that are more intense. The 4 best known are Airport Mesa, Cathedral Rock, Bell Rock, and Boynton Canyon. The allure of mysticism downtown is contagious and exciting. It seems everywhere you look, there is a psychic shop or a crystal store. And right away, we jump in to explore some local color. Meet psychic medium Melissa Brace.
I grew up in Oklahoma, in a tiny town from Oklahoma.
Okay. All right. You are a country girl.
I am a country girl. I think there's 25,000 people in my hometown still.
And did you grow up knowing that you had a gift, or was it something that you discovered later on in life?
I did. I knew since, I was a little child, I didn't quite know what it meant. So one of my first memories, this is a funny one, because one of my first memories of knowing I was a little bit different was when I used to tell my parents I have to go to bed. So I was like 5 years old. And I said, I have to go talk to the lady. And every few months, the lady would show up and talk to me, and she was floaty. And I thought she was Glinda the Good Witch because I knew no different. And they just didn't quite know what to do with me. So we didn't ever know the right words.
So you had an imaginary friend.
Uh-huh.
Was it talked about in your family, or did they kind of just steer around the subject?
We didn't talk about it, but they were always very willing to accept me and help me learn. I also grew up in a bookstore. So my family owns a big, giant bookstore with, coffee shop thing. So over the years, my parents would sometimes say, here, read this. This might help you. So they would, were very supportive of my path all along, but we didn't know really the words to use and what things meant. When I started becoming more well-known and more well-known and more well-known, my friends would call me and text me and go, hey, I heard you on the radio. And by the way, we always thought you should have this job. And I went, what? Why didn't anyone tell me? So it was me kind of being quiet about it. And yes, there is some prejudice there sometimes still. So, yeah, just...
And do you feel that that's getting better?
Absolutely. I think I really appreciate some of the people that have been on TV and, gone ahead and paved the road for us. But yes, I think many people are
more open-minded.
More open-minded. And one of my favorite times was I had a farmer guy come in with overalls, and I thought, and I asked him, "Did your wife make you come? Who made you come?" And he goes, "No, she doesn't like stuff like this. It was me." And I thought, I've made it.
Hi, we are with Melissa, and she's going to take us UFO hunting. And we're going to go right now. God, that's beautiful. How is this possible? Can I get this on the camera? I know. Are you able to catch it? Oh my God, he's able to get it on video. Oh my God. I've never seen that before. Like, oh my God. This is, I can't take it anymore. You just swirl around and then here's the other thing. If they were planes, those are low. We can hear them. That many planes thundering. I'm gonna hug it. Oh my God, just to be able to see it with my eyes like this. How is this not all over TV? I don't know. Why don't we put it there? Rocky, do you have any explanation for this?
Nope, this is crazy.
Over Sedona in the night vision, and there are lines. They're just going up slowly along the line. Unbelievable.
There we go. Wow.
It's like my 8-year-old child is like, that's what Santa Claus looked like. What were we witnessing? Do the vortexes have something to do with this UFO activity? Were the ancient people of this land onto something and recording these phenomena with cave drawings? I'm just kind of waking up in the hotel room, and I could barely sleep last night because I was so excited about the UFOs. And but turned on my phone and woke up to news that our aliens were not actually aliens, but Elon Musk satellites that had just happened to be launched the one night we're here. So, wah wah. Damn you, Elon Musk. How dare you ruin my show. Thought I discovered aliens. Although some people think Elon Musk is an alien, so maybe we did actually get real aliens on film. Oh, shit. There's always, sometimes there's just always an explanation, you know? So just trying to be transparent here with the show. But pretty funny. Still pretty cool that we happen to be here out of, you know, I mean, what are the chances of us just happening to be here that night that he launches the satellites? It's pretty cool. Well, we didn't exactly make contact with aliens, but there is still no denying the supercharged energy you feel the moment you set foot in Sedona. So what is behind that? What is it specifically about the geology of this magical place that creates this enlightened feeling? We met with local energy reader Veronica Irons, who also happens to have a degree in geology from the local university.
Really big converging energies here. So before I even get to the red rocks, The first landmass to ever come up out of the ocean, the remnants of it at least, because obviously geology shifts, is over on the other side of the valley in Jerome. That was the first land to ever rise above the water. And that's why, as a mine, it was the most productive copper mine in the world. Double the amount of any copper mine, because that's like literally where the land rose. So you have this very ancient energy in Arizona just in general. So you have this very primal life force, like the very thing that supports us as humans. This is one of the first places that it came up. Now I'm sure it all kind of came up fast, but over here the rocks are red because of iron, and this was an ancient shoreline. And the water had iron in it, and it was other particulates and things, and it was dropping the iron. So this whole valley, Sedona is one side of what's known as the Whole Verde Valley. And so this whole valley, and even further out, was part of this sea that had this iron, so it was constantly dropping it into the rocks that absorbed it. Well, iron is highly magnetic. So we're basically, what you're experiencing when you come into Sedona is the rocks are red because of the iron content, and being magnetic, our largest electromagnetic center of our body is over our heart. Most people come here and find a lot of peace because it almost stabilizes you and grounds you to be able to just breathe. I have noticed though, when you tend to try to live here without practicing your own grounding, it can bring up a lot of your issues very, very quickly. And then you do have a couple convergence of ley lines. So not only are you on a big magnet, it's also energized by some energetic ley lines. Kind of think meridians in the human body, but for the earth. So now you've electrocharged this magnet, so it's a big electromagnetic battery. But you also have some mega volcanoes in this area. Huge shield volcano just off to the east. A large conic volcano. If anyone's been to Flagstaff or you guys make it up there, it's almost perfect. You can actually see how when it exploded, the tip fell off behind. So if you like kind of bring your fingers up to one side and the other, and you'll see that gap, that's where the rest of the mountain was. So it was that perfect pointed volcano that when it exploded went to the backside. And then there's a cinder cone volcano. So there's actually 3 types of volcanoes that exist in the world, and we have all 3 within, I believe it's about 150-mile radius. So you get a lot of the earth energy, you get a lot of that old fire energy from the volcanoes. Air, obviously, as you're noticing, the wind is blowing. We get a lot of that in the spring. And then we do have a lot of rivers and creeks that flow here. So you do get that water energy, and that brings in a lot of that fairy energy, actually. Because the fae are known to live in the in-between places. So even if it's more of a matter of whether we believe in little fairies coming and popping around, or just that energy and magic of when water flows through the desert, or which you get here and in Cottonwood and in Cornville. Or Jerome is its own because it's in between the land and the sky up on the side of the mountain. But Sedona too, being between the Colorado Plateau, the different levels of earth, is also tremendously powerful. So yeah, there's a lot of really great energy in it, and it brings together really beautifully in it, but it can definitely heighten things too when you're ready to.
Everything sort of converges in
this
one
spot.
spot.
Totally.
So it doesn't affect everybody the same way. It's
No.
sort of, okay, so everybody comes here and they have their own sort of
experience.
personal reaction.
I mean, I would say 90% of people, 9 out of 10 are going to be like, I love Sedona, but there's going to be that person that is like, it was pretty, but I just, like, it's like a wet cat. They were just agitated the whole time and they couldn't sink into it. And really, Sedona's about surrender. And that's kind of what vacation should be anyways, that surrender a lot of that energy, a lot of that stress for a minute, just to be really present. And it helps you do that if you're willing to. But if you fight it, it's a problem. And then the energy of Sedona herself, she reminds me a bit of like a Coco Pally, a mischievous wonderful, powerful energy, but not all lessons we learn in life are easy. So again, with that bringing up, okay, you've had enough rest, now here's this next layer. Let's draw that out and have you embrace that. I find that her energy can do that.
So do you kind of think of her as a goddess?
The Sedona is actually named after a woman, Sedona Schnepley. She was the postman's wife. So reaching back into that, I wouldn't say necessarily goddess, a teacher, a guide, or like an avatar in my book. Though some people could easily call her a goddess. I'm all for meeting people where they are in their faith. Faith is important, and I would never look to take that away from somebody. So
it's very personal.
Yeah. So if I was talking to a Dianic Wiccan, sure, goddess. But to me, avatar. Really, the thing that I would say for anyone who's kind of developing their awareness into the psychic spiritual realm, it's not something that's separate from our day-to-day life. And it's going to make our lives harder if we try to approach it that way. And I speak from experience. So that's why I look to encourage people to be aware that if we have like, you know, an altar over here, or, you know, our yoga mat or our prayer, and it's just that 40 minutes, and then the rest of the day we have to do the grind, it doesn't mesh well. So spiritual practice is all about bringing that patience, that awareness in everyday interaction. Like my niece says, whether you're sick and needing to practice kindness, but also throw out there that kindness is not being doormat. You need to be kind to self too by speaking up what your needs are, but being aware of, you know, not necessarily lashing out. Because being psychic is all about perspective. Having done the work to have a little bit more of a bigger lay of the land. A guru said it this way one time, that if you had somebody who is on the road and you're looking around miles and miles and there's nothing around, but they're on the road, and then there's someone floating above them 300 feet. And they talk every once in a while, but for the most part kind of live in different planes. And all of a sudden the guy who's floating up here says, "Hey, guy down there, there's a car coming." And the guy down there looks up and says, "You're insane. I don't see a car. You must be crazy." And the person's like, "Okay, whatever." And then lo and behold, 10 minutes later, a car comes along, and the person on the ground goes, "Oh, wow, there's that car. Look at it go. You must be psychic." And the person above says, "It's just perspective. I've done the work to get up, and I can look out a little bit further and see." So it is magical in some ways, but it really is, but it's also just about having an expanded awareness.
Do you believe everybody is psychic?
Yes, I absolutely, wholeheartedly. We all have a psychic ability, like eye color, hair color. There are differences in what they look like and how you would choose to approach them. But they're an innate human right that I feel like by ignoring, we end up hamstringing ourselves. And so when I work with people with empathy, especially in developing that gift, and it's not uncommon, they're afraid of their abilities. But the more and more you start embracing them, the more and more being afraid of them is tying an arm behind your back and trying to move through the rest of your life with one arm. You can do it, but it's much more difficult. So yes, everybody that I've met has an ability to some degree, and it is well worth expanding on, because I feel like we live in a much different place if we all had a little bit more of an expanded awareness of ourselves and others, for sure.
Melissa and Veronica were both amazing readers with two completely different styles. Melissa, as a medium, was able to communicate not only with my mom and my grandfather, but with family friends who had passed over as well. Veronica, a gifted energy worker, was able to hone in on my vibrations, diagnose my problem areas, and explain how to heal them. All the readings were incredibly accurate. Too long to show here, but if you're curious, we will post them unedited on our YouTube channel. Working on this project made me realize the spiritual journey is the human experience. Being in the moment, gratitude, relationships, being in awe of nature, meeting new people, making new friends. This is the spiritual journey that we are all on, a journey called life. Whether you're a believer or not, no one leaves Sedona unchanged.